Sometimes the most powerful stories begin when the real world fades and something far more mysterious takes its place. Hey everyone, welcome back to Movies on the Brain. I'm Jayson, and today I'm continuing my Studio Ghibli journey with Spirited Away, a film that's enchanted audiences from around the world and came highly recommended by my friend Brian. Directed by the legendary Hayao Miyazaki, with the English dub featuring the voices of Davy Chase, Jason Marsden, Susan Egan, and David Ogden Stiers. This is a story of strange spirits, forgotten gods, and one girl's journey through a world unlike anything she's ever known. And just a quick heads up, if I stumble over any of the Japanese names in this review, I want to apologize in advance. I'm doing my best with respect, and I appreciate your understanding. Let's step into the spirit world and talk about what makes this film so unforgettable. Spirited Away opened in Japanese theaters on July 20th, 2001, with a budget of $19.2 million. It also had a 50-week U.S. theatrical run in which it earned $10 million. During its 16-week theatrical run in Japan, it earned a total of $230 million, which brought the worldwide total to $274.9 million. I'm unable to find exact numbers for its Japanese box office run, but during its domestic opening weekend, which was the weekend of September 20th through the 22nd of 2002, it earned $449,839, finishing in the box office at number 18, behind the likes of The Four Feathers, Ballistic X vs. Sever, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, The Banger Sisters, and Barbershop, numbers 5 through 1 respectively, with The Four Feathers, Ballistic, and The Banger Sisters all opening the same weekend as well. Its final week in domestic theaters saw it earn $48,468, finishing its domestic box office run at number 59. 10-year-old Chihiro Ogino and her parents Akio and Yuko travel to their new home. Akio, taking a shortcut, stops in front of a tunnel leading to what appears to be an abandoned resort town, which Yuko insists on exploring over Chihiro's protestations. On finding a seemingly empty restaurant still stocked with food, Chihiro's parents immediately began to eat. While exploring further, Chihiro finds an enormous bathhouse, sees a train pass beneath the bridge, and meets a boy named Haku, who warns her to return across the riverbed before sunset. However, spirits begin to appear, and Chihiro discovers her parents have been transformed into pigs and cannot cross the now flooded river. Haku finds Chihiro and instructs her to ask for a job from the bathhouse's boilerman Kamaji, a yokai commanding the Susu Watari. Kamaji instead asks a worker named Lin to bring Chihiro to Yubaba, the witch who runs the bathhouse and cursed her parents. Lin is Haku's master. Yubaba tries to frighten Chihiro away, but eventually gives her a work contract. As Chihiro signs the contract with her name, Yubaba takes away the second kanji in her name, renaming her Sin. She soon forgets her real name, and Haku later explains that Yubaba controls people by taking their names. If she completely forgets her name like he did, she will never be able to leave the spirit world. The other workers, except for Kamaji and Lin, frequently mock Sin. While working, she invites a silent creature named No Face inside, believing him to be a customer. The spirit of a polluted river arrives as Sin's first customer. After she cleans him, he gives her a magic medic dumpling as a token of gratitude. Meanwhile, No Face demands food from the bathhouse workers, granting gold copied from the river spirit in exchange. However, when Sin declines the gold and leaves, he angrily swallows some workers. Sin sees Paper Shikigami attacking a dragon and recognizes the dragon as Haku, metamorphosed. When the seriously injured Haku crashes into Yubaba's penthouse, Sen follows him upstairs. A Shikigami that stowed away on her back shapeshifts into Yubaba's twin sister, Zeniba, who turns Yubaba's son, Bo, into a mouse and creates a false copy of him. Zeniba tells Sin that Haku has stolen a magic golden seal from her that carries a deadly curse. Haku strikes the Shikigami, causing Zeniba to vanish. Once he and Sin fall into the boiler room, she gives him part of the emetic dumpling to vomit up the seal and a slug that a disgusted Sin kills. Sin resolves to return the seal and apologize to Zeniba. She confronts an engorged No-Face and feeds him the rest of the dumpling to regurgitate the workers. No-Face follows Sin out of the bathhouse, and Lin helps them leave. Sin, No-Face, and Bo travel to see Zeniba with train tickets gifted by Kamaji. Meanwhile, Yubaba nearly orders Sin's parents' slaughtering. Haku reveals Bo is missing and offers to retrieve him if Yubaba releases Sin and her parents. Yubaba agrees, but only if Sin can pass the final test. Sin meets with Zeniba, who makes her a magic hairband and reveals that Yubaba used the slug to control Haku. Using his dragon form, Haku flies Sin and Bo back, while No-Face decides to stay with Zeniba. Mid-flight, Sin recalls falling into the Kohaku River years earlier and being washed safely ashore, correctly guessing Haku's real identity as the spirit of the Kohaku River. When they arrive at the bathhouse, Yubaba tests Sin to identify her parents among a group of pigs to leave. After she answers correctly that none of the pigs are her parents, her contract disappears and she is given back her real name. Haku takes her to the now dry riverbed and vows to meet her again. Chihiro crosses the riverbed to her restored parents. Shortly before leaving for her new home, Chihiro looks back at the tunnel with her hairband from Zeniba still intact. Now let's look at the cast and some of their other roles. David Chase as Chihiro Ogino and for Sin. Other roles for David Chase include Samara in The Ring, Lilo and Stitch in 2002's Lilo and Stitch, and Rhonda Volmer in the TV show Big Love. Jason Marsden as Haku, or the spirit of the Kohaku River. Other roles for Jason Marsden include Max Goof in a Goofy movie, Zachary Binks in Hocus Pocus, and Nermal in the TV show The Garfield Show. Suzanne Plachette as Yubaba and Zeniba. For her passing in January of 2008, other roles for Suzanne Plachette included Annie Hayworth in The Birds, Zira in Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, and Emily Hartley in the TV show The Bob Newhart Show. David Ogden Stiers as Kamaji. Before his passing in March of 2018, other roles for David Ogden Stiers include Major Charles Winchester in the TV show MASH, Cogsworth in 1991's Beauty and the Beast, and Governor Ratcliffe in Pocahontas. Susan Egan as Lynn. Other roles for Susan Egan include Meg in Hercules, Rose Quartz in TV show Steven Universe, and Tracy Hansen in 13 Going on 30. Paul Eiding as Chichi Yaku. Other roles for Paul Eiding include Perceptor in the Transformers the movie, Colonel Campbell in the Metal Gear Solid video game franchise, and Reflux in The Incredibles 2. John Ratzenberger as the assistant manager. Other roles for John Ratzenberger include Mac in the Cars franchise, Ham in the Toy Story franchise, and Cliff in the TV show Cheers. Bob Bergen as No-Face and Algaru. Other roles for Bob Bergen include Porky Pig in the TV show New Looney Tunes, Wind Up in the Skylanders video game franchise, and Bucky the Squirrel in Emperor's New Groove. Roger Bumpass as the foreman. Other roles for Roger Bumpass include Squidward in the TV show SpongeBob SquarePants, Phil Hilton in The Running Man, and Dr. Light in the TV show Teen Titans Go. Tara Strong as Bo. Other roles for Tara Strong include Raven in the TV show Teen Titans, Ms. Minutes in the TV show Loki, in Twilight Sparkle and TV show My Little Pony. Michael Chiklis as Kyo Ogino. Other roles from Michael Chiklis include Detective Vic Mackey in the TV show The Shield, Ben Grimm in 2005's Fantastic Four and its sequel, and Milo in the TV show Sons of Anarchy. Lauren Holly as Yuko Ogino. Other roles for Lauren Holly include Mary in Dumb and Dumber, Emily in Down Periscope, and Lynn Harper in the TV show Designated Survivor. Jim Ward as the River Spirit. Other roles for Jim Ward include Captain Quark in the Ratchet and Clank video game franchise, Chet You Betcha in the TV show Fairly Odd Parents, and Accelerate in the TV show Ben 10. Jack Angel as the Radish Spirit. Before his passing in October of 2021, other roles for Jack Angel include Teddy in AI Artificial Intelligence, Mickey and Balto in The Toy Shark in Toy Story. You know, I thought Chihiro sounded familiar, and it's because David Chase also voiced Lilo in Lilo and Stitch, with the exception of, as of right now, which is uh, May 17th, 2025, the upcoming live action one. The dad not wanting to turn around and thinks the road is a shortcut is typical for men. Honestly, we really do think every road will get us to where we need to be. I don't think it's very wise to eat food from a restaurant when nobody is there to serve you, but maybe that's just me. Chihiro freaking out over her parents becoming pigs and starting to turn transparent. Honestly, I think I'd act the same way. What an interesting premise, a bathhouse for spirits. The bird with the woman's head looked freaky, but it was well animated. I really love the animation and score throughout this movie. Interesting that Kamaji is covering for Chihiro, saying that she's his granddaughter, and the only way she can get work is if she talks to Yubaba. Chihiro being meek but also standing her ground until Yubaba gives her a job is such an interesting way to write her character. And honestly, I feel like Yubaba is one of the better written characters in this movie. I don't know if I really like how they show it, how they show us how Yubaba flies, but it does make sense. Haku coming to get Chihiro after her first night's sleep to take her to her parents after the conversation between Lin and Chihiro about Haku is a bit unsettling. Chihiro constantly telling is a choice. I'm not sure if I'd have gone with it, but it works for her character. Chihiro being the outcast, but actually doing the one job that nobody else wanted to do, being cheered for, it was pretty heartwarming to watch. Haku being near death and Chihiro being worried about him is probably the sweetest thing in this movie. The no-face spirit, Chihiro, and the bird and the rat are the strangest ragtag group to go on a journey, but I love the score behind the scenes of them on the train. Zeniba helping Chihiro with her memory issues, and then to be picked up by Haku to pass a test from Yubaba and get to leave, being cheered by everyone at the bathhouse is a fantastic way to really end the film. I do still think Howl's Moving Castle is better, but this is pretty fantastic as well. Now let's look at some fun facts and trivia. The cleansing of the river spirit is based on a real life incident in Hayao Miyazaki's life, in which he participated in the cleaning of a river, removing, among other things, bicycle. Although it has a rich plot with developed characters, Spirited Away was not made with a script. Hayao Miyazaki's films never had scripts during their production. I don't have the story finished and ready when we start a film, the filmmaker told Midnight Eye. I usually don't have the time, so the story develops when I start drawing storyboards. The production starts soon while the storyboards are still developing. Miyazaki does not know where the plot is going, and he lets it happen organically. It's not me who makes the film makes itself, and I have no choice but to follow. Although Hayao Miyazaki had considered retiring after completing Princess Mononoke, he was inspired to make this film after seeing a friend's sullen 10-year-old daughter. This is the first film to earn $200 million in the U.S. in grosses even before it opened in the U.S. To do the voice of Chihiro's mother talking while eating. Actress Yasuko Sawaguchi spoke the dialogue in the original Japanese language version while eating a piece of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Actress Lauren Holly did the same thing in the English version with an apple. This was the first anime film to be nominated and win an Academy Award. At the time, it had the longest runtime of any other film nominated or winning in that category at 125 minutes. It has since been beaten by, among other films, The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, also from Studio Ghibli. This was the first film directed by Hayao Miyazaki in which a child character was actually voiced by a child. Spirited Away was the only non-English film to win the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature until 2024. In that year, The Boy and the Heron won the award, a movie that was directed by Hayao Miyazaki as well. And that's it for my review of Spirited Away, a film that drifts between the dreamlike and the deeply human, capturing the feeling of being lost and found all at once. Huge thanks to Brian for this recommendation. This one was an experience. Studio Ghibli continues to surprise me. There are definitely more of their films on the way. Thanks for watching Movies on the Brain. I'm Jayson, and I'll see you next time as the Ghibli journey and so many others continue.